In this video, we will be learning how to make the round ear for the basic teddy bear at Dawn's Loom Knitting. You will learn the knit and purl stitch combination, straight stitch, and a cinch to make it a disc.
Okay, we've gone all the way around now with the E-loop stitch. We're making a round ear, and that's done with the knit and purl. Knit stitch is one row, the purl stitch is the next row. So we did the knit row with the E-loop stitch. Now we're doing the purl, and we bring it up through just like we were going to incorporate, but then we take everything across and we bring that loop and put it back over the top of the peg. And bringing it back over the top of the peg gives you the knit stitch. You tighten it up, then you go on to the next one. Down through, bring it up through, grab the loop, bring everything across the peg, put the loop back on and tighten it all up. Down through the groove, around all of the yarn, bring it up, grab the loop, take everything across the peg, put the loop back on and tighten it up, and that's the purl stitch. So down, across, bring up the loop, grab the loop, bring everything across, put the loop back on the peg, and tighten it up. Down through the groove, around the yarn, back up, grab the loop, bring everything across, put the loop back on the peg, and tighten it up. And when you go around the end, it's the same way. You just simply go down through the groove, grab the whole yarn, bring up the loop, grab the loop, take everything off the peg, and then put the loop back on and tighten it. Down through the groove, across the entire yarn, back up. When the loop's there, grab the loop, bring everything across, put the loop back on the peg, and tighten it. Down through the groove, across the peg, bring everything back up, grab the loop, take everything across, put the loop back on the peg, and then tighten it. Okay? Two more on this row. Down, through, across the yarn, up, and across, the loop back on. Now you can do this with 3 pegs and have a smaller ear. 3 pegs on each side, so that's a total of 8 instead of the 10 that we're doing here now. Okay, that's the last knit stitch, and now we're just going to do the straight stitch, which is also a knit stitch, and then we'll do another purl row. Okay, we've gone clear around, and so now we're going to incorporate the tail. And then we're going to do the knit stitch, or the straight stitch, now the rest of the way around. And tie that around the peg at the end while I incorporate this, because now we're going to start another row of purl. So we've done 3 rows now. The E-loop stitch, which is a knit stitch, the purl stitch, so that's knit and purl, and then we do the straight stitch, which is a knit stitch, and so now we'll do a purl again, so we'll have knit and purl and knit and purl, 4 rows.
These are the steps for the knit and purl. First, put the hoop down through the loop, Bring the whole yarn up through the groove. Grab the new loop while pulling yarn. Bring everything over the peg. Put the new loop back on the peg and tighten it.
Okay, we bring it back up through. We grab the loop. Bring everything across. Take the loop across and tighten everything up. Okay, down through. Grab the entire yarn, bring it up so you have a loop. Take everything across, put the loop across the peg, and tighten it. Down through. Bring the loop up, put everything across, put the loop across the peg, and tighten it. And now we're going to do the straight stitch around again. At that far, we can go back and we can incorporate and tie this off now entirely. So we'll bring it up through 4 or 5 times. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. And that one isn't bad, but if it pokes out at all, then you have to cut it off, because it's this is a disc, and so it shows. So don't maybe cut it off all of it, but cut it down there pretty close, and then cut that off. Now we're going back, and I decided after finishing one that we're better off to do the knit and purl 3 times, and so we're going to do it again. This is going to be the straight stitch, which is the knit stitch. We have a nice one to put the double across. And we're going to cut off enough of this so we'll be able to stitch it on. And now we're going to do the cinch cord. Like I said earlier, there's similarities in this cinch cord between the incorporation and the knit or the purl stitch, but we don't leave the loop here. We bring it all the way through so we can use it as a cinch strap or cinch cord. And now we can take it all off and cinch it back together. Okay, now we're going to cinch this together, and you'll see the kind of a little disc that it makes. Okay, we've tied it all off. We have a little disc there now. Okay, now I've taken the needle and I'm threading through this last little bit of that, and then tighten it up really tight. Takes at least twice through this little same area to make it really become a knot. And then I like to, as I keep that, I like to go back to the outside, kind of keeping it inside of the loops there, and out to the edge. That keeps that into a knot and keeps it from bringing the outside into the inside if you have a knot in both places, the inside, the very inside, and then out here. And now you have a tail that you can use here to sew it on to the teddy bear itself.
Besides the two sizes depicted here, the 10 peg size and the 8 peg size, you can have the 4-ply yarn on the next slide or a straight stitch. This thick one is done with the E-loop stitch all the way through. Mastery of the teddy bear basics could lead to doing something as complicated as this dragon. This dragon uses the knit and purl stitch for the gold along its back. I would like to give thanks to my wife Miriam and to Marcia for all their help, and also many others.